Hey everyone, welcome to a special bonus episode of Locked On Lakers. Brian Kamenetsky here. The Lakers lose in Indiana. How much is this one going to cost them? I'll tell you next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on weekends. No matter how rare you get each podcast, this one's always free and never behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go to hang out with over 23,000 subscribers, all of whom are wondering why the Lakers could not make a shot to save their lives. Friday in Indiana, they lose 109-90 in a game that actually was closer than this for for stretches of the game. You're kind of amazing that these teams, like a week ago or whatever it was, combined for nearly 300 points. And in this one, they didn't even reach 200. And to some degree, I think that's the feeling that, you look around Lakers social media and all these other things and watch the reaction of Lakers fans you kind of understand intellectually, look, this was a game where the Lakers just could not make a shot. And overall, they were 41% from the floor and a miserable 5 of 30. That's 16.5% from 3-point range. And, the Lakers, particularly in the first half, turned the ball over way too much, 10 turnovers at the half, I believe it was. And if you're not going to compensate for 5 of 30 with a ton of free throws, the Lakers only went to the line 18 times in this game, you're not going to win. You end up with 90 points, and you just cannot win games in the NBA with 90 points. And so, it was still vaguely disappointing because the Lakers had opportunities, despite playing the way that they did, to get it within a couple buckets. They had chances in the fourth quarter they had a really strong beginning to the fourth quarter, and had a chance to get a couple times the game down to 4 or 5 points. And each time that moment came, there was a turnover. Lebron can't catch the ball. Austin Reeves throws the ball away. It was just a night where everything was a little bit off. The offense was obviously off. They could not take the lid off the basket, as I mentioned. Darvin, a couple odd choices about lineups, just stuff that you shake your head at a little bit. But you're not going to win with 7 of 16 from Reeves, and 1 of 7 from 3-point range, and 3 of 14 from D'Lo, and 0 of 6 from 3-point range. You only have 6 points on the night. Spencer Dinwiddie, 1 of 6 overall, 1 of 5 from 3-point range. It was actually kind of amazing that the Lakers were even in this game as long as they were, given how they could not score. 24 points, 25 points, 23 points, 18 points. That was your quarter by quarter scoring for the Lakers. I wish, it's one of these games, and you talk about that sense of disappointment. Not only did the Lakers have a chance to get closer, and then they just couldn't make the shot that would get them over the edge, couldn't keep the ball in their hands, untimely turnovers, whatever it was. Indiana, as we just again saw 10 days ago, 8 days ago, whatever it was, is one of the best offensive teams in the league, and they held them to 109 points, or Indiana held themselves to 109 points, whatever it was, a combination of those two. The Lakers certainly did a good enough job defensively to win the game. You hold Indiana to 110 points on their floor, and you don't win. And Anthony Davis talked about this, the missed opportunity that was here for them. 109 points for Indiana on their home floor, where they are 22-15 now, and you don't come within 19 of them. I mean, I could see why they'd be upset. I certainly would be if I was them. But the bigger question, this is what, when you break down the road trip, and Andy and I did that before I went on my little vacation. He's taking his into next week. I got a couple great guests, I think, lined up for Sunday and Monday and Tuesday shows. I guess at the very least, I'm excited about. So, we talked about before the road trip that 4-2 is the bare minimum of what the Lakers can do on this trip and have a chance to do anything constructive, whether that's catch Phoenix, whether that's just make sure they don't get passed by Golden State for that number, the 9 seed into the 10, whatever it is. 4-2 is the bare minimum. 5-1 is what they really need. 6-0 though, which all of a sudden you have an opportunity to do with that double overtime game against Milwaukee, the shocking win that was. Now, all of a sudden, you have a chance to do something really special on the trip. If you can slide through Indiana, the other difficult game left on this trip, then you have the Nets on Easter Sunday afternoon, the Raptors on Tuesday, and the Wizards on Wednesday. If you want to consider yourself a reasonable Western Conference contender, and you have to sweep those games. And so, they still have a very good chance and need to go 5-1, but 6-0 could have been out there. This is just a winnable game, and it would have been an ugly win. It was a win where they needed to obviously do better and kind of grind through a day where the shots don't go. But they were there. They had an opportunity to win the game, and if they move 10 games over 500, all that stuff, they're back down to 8. If they were in better shape, if they were already 12 or 13 or 14 games over 500, if they were 46-27 like the Clippers, or 45-28 like the Pelicans, and we're talking about the 4th seed through the 6th seed or something like that, they're in that middle bunch that basically has the Clippers, the Pelicans, and the Mavericks, or if you want to drop it down a little bit, the Mavericks, Kings, Suns, whatever it is. If the Lakers were in a better spot in the standings, you could look at a game like this and say, yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just can't shoot. They were over 50%. Their percentages against Memphis were insane. That's kind of a statistical anomaly too. So is 16.7%. But these things happen. But the Lakers have played themselves into a place where they don't have the luxury of being able to say, these things happen and move on, because they are trying to catch Phoenix. They are trying to perhaps catch the Kings. It's a little tougher to do because they don't have the tiebreaker there. So the big question becomes, like, how damaging is this going to be for the Lakers to those hopes? And they remain, Phoenix did not play on Sunday. So the Lakers stay 2 games behind the Suns. Obviously, they still have the Suns did play. They lost to the Thunder. So the Lakers have that tiebreaker, but it's an opportunity. They could have gained a game. Now instead of 2 games behind Phoenix, you're 1 game behind Phoenix. I'm actually recording this while the Mavericks and the Kings are playing, and that's getting late in the 4th quarter. That game's tied. We'll see what happens there. But these are opportunities to gain on one of the teams that you're chasing, and they didn't do it. And there are not a lot of games left to do it. And the math just doesn't work in their favor. The more that, the closer you get to the end of the season. Phoenix did the Lakers a favor. They lost to San Antonio the other night, but then they turn around and beat Denver. So they kind of got that game back when you kind of go through and figure out what they're going to be doing. So look, it was the 3rd game in 4 nights. You still have the double overtime. Their, guys, their legs just kind of looked heavy. Nothing. They didn't have anybody who really looked. AD coming back from sitting that day, the game out after Milwaukee, didn't look as spry as he has in other times. Certainly against Indiana, still finished with 24 and 15, but it wasn't a dominant AD game. But LeBron wasn't. It was certainly as a scorer, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. He fills up the stat line, but there was not a lot of pop in the Lakers today, and the bench scoring was back to being non-existent, 14 points in total. So that is not going to get it done. It'll be, it is obviously the next 3 games are absolutely essential. The Lakers cannot drop any of them. If they do, then they are not going to have any prayer of finishing in that 8th spot, because they still do have enough difficult games left on the schedule. Cleveland, depending on who's available to play. The Minnesota Timberwolves obviously still playing. The Warriors still playing. The Pelicans may or may not have something to play for in that season finale. They're just, there's too many unknowns here. They getting close to needing to sweep depending on what Phoenix does. So we'll see. Very excited to bring a show to you guys on Monday following the Nets game. Do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophies, also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, style, or all of those things, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for, like wiper blades. That's what I was looking for the other day, and snow chains. You got to drive up in the Sierras. You got to have your chains. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and all the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, available only to U.S. customers. Locked On Lakers also brought to you by Fire TV. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes. We did that in my kids' rooms for a long time before upgrading to a better smart TV. So it works on all of that stuff. You get your free and live TV that way, whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament. You're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at the Locked On Network and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV lets you dive into all the games, the analysis, the highlights, and more to keep up to date on the latest in the world of sports, whether it's March Madness, the NBA, Major League Baseball, or more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. And if you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this one. To learn more, visit www.amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. And we will see everybody on Monday. Have a great holiday weekend.